The once unbreakable fabric of the monarchy trembles as shadows cast long and deep. Whispers swirl in the hallowed halls, murmuring tales of intrigue and secrets long kept under gilded wraps. Before we go deeper into what this really means for the royal family, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single update. Today, the world stands on the precipice, yearning to uncover the buried truths lurking behind every ornate door and opulent throne. As the royal storm brews, a battle for control unravels not only against the backdrop of grand palaces, but within the very veins that carry the ancient bloodline. Betrayal intertwines with a legacy once thought impregnable, forcing alliances to shift like sand in the wind. Beneath the majestic exteriors, hearts collide with destiny, each beat resonating with the weight of crowns and kingdoms. With every revelation threatening the sanctity of the empire, the monarchs find themselves walking a tightrope fraught with peril and promise. Can they withstand the brewing tempest, or will this storm be the catalyst that alters their destiny forever? In these uncertain times, courage melds with fear, duty with desire, and the line between friend and foe blurs with every passing day. The air is thick with a suspense that clings like a second skin, and soon enough, the world will bear witness to the movements of royalty, as history's forgotten secrets unfurl, with bated breath. As one chapter unfurls into another, the royal family must brace for the next turn of events, unyielding to a relentless cascade of uncertainties that threaten to redefine their very existence. In the dim-lit corridors of the royal palace, echoes of laughter were replaced by whispers that told tales of a dynasty shaped as much by shadows as by the grandeur of their reign. The queen, a figure of elegance and poise, was no stranger to secrets, which clung to the walls as tightly as the ivy that had crept over the castle stones for centuries. Her lineage was an intricate tapestry, woven with threads of triumph and turmoil, threads only revealed when pulled apart by the hands of time. Behind her calm composure lay the stories of ancestors whose ambitions were matched only by their audacity. Long-standing feuds lay dormant beneath the polished veneer, rivalries that had never truly died but slumbered quietly, waiting for the right moment to resurface. The weight of the past was heavy, an invisible crown she wore, its thorns disguised beneath its dazzling jewels. Each decision she made whispered of history, each action shadowed by what had been before. Her father's voice, a blend of sternness and warmth, lingered in her memory, guiding her and reminding her of duty. He had fought, with both wit and weapon, to hold the kingdom together, his legacy cast long into the present through her. The battles won, and the alliances forged had come at no small cost, sacrifices made in silence echoing across generations. Yet amidst the shadows, glimmers of light flickered an old journal tucked away, revealing secrets from years past, pages filled with cryptic notes that hinted at alliances not known to the public eye, and betrayals that had altered the course of the royal line. There had been a scandal, a betrayal concealed beneath layers of propriety and power. The prince who was promised, whose very existence had been a beacon of hope, was lost to treachery, leaving a void not just in the family, but in the heart of the kingdom. As history repeated its relentless cycle, the shadows threatened to spill over into the present, hovering ominously over the queen's reign. Each state visit, each public appearance, was accompanied by the unnerving knowledge that old ghosts were watching, waiting. The very ground she walked was laden with secrets, and as the tendrils of mystery wrapped tighter, an undeniable truth emerged: these shadows would not rest, would not be silenced. They pulsed with a life of their own, waiting for their own time to rise once more. Against this backdrop, tension crackled like the onset of a storm that promised to sweep away the illusions and half-truths that had guarded the throne for so long. A storm that held the power to rewrite history, should its secrets be revealed at last. As we stand at the cusp of the unknown, we realize that the journey through the shadows of the past is not just about what was lost, but what might yet be found. And so, the story continues, a saga unfurling with every heartbeat, every breath a mesmerizing dance between light and darkness, past and present. The prestige of the Ellis dynasty rested heavily on the shoulders of King Harold, whose reign had guided the kingdom through war and prosperity with equal fervor until the day when the ground beneath his throne began to quiver. Beneath the surface of their loyal kingdom, Whispers became rumors, and rumors grew into scandals. A single revelation had the power to dissolve the ironclad trust the people had once placed in their noble lineage. Harold's seemingly impenetrable legacy now threatened to implode under the weight of an unforgivable transgression, an outlawed marriage, a secret union bound in the shadows of a distant past, revealed a family tree tangled beyond recognition. It was not the bloodline that the people adored, but an inherited deception that loomed dark over the majesty of their name. Yet within these corridors of power, muted cries resounded like thunder, as young Prince Edmund struggled with the burden thrusted upon his untested shoulders. He bore a secret of his own, a friendship turned alliance with those who lurked in the very shadows his father had sworn to extinguish. His heart, torn between duty and allegiance, pulsed with the rhythm of a dual tune, one of survival and one of betrayal. Would breaking from tradition and embracing these allies fortify the kingdom's future, or hasten its descent into chaos? Such were the dilemmas that plagued him, guiding the prince into the maw of uncertainty and deceit, as ghosts of past misdeeds tangled with the present trials he couldn't escape. Both triumphant and tragic tales snake through their halls, documenting a monarchical existence fraught with more complexities than simple thrones and crowns. Longing to avert the storm brewing on their horizon, Queen Isabella embraced a treacherous path. Bound by her oath but stirred by visceral love and loyalty to her kingdom, she engaged in a clandestine negotiation with adversaries who once shunned her peace offerings. She stood ready to defy her king, her wisdom undimmed by loyalty but sharpened by it. The price of maintaining such a delicate balance was great, perhaps greater than any crown was worth, but the safety and survival of the realm depended upon a formidable gamble. Their world teetered at the brink, suspended between ageless power and modern defiance. Whispered truths wound their way through the kingdom like serpents through grass, exploring every fissure and flaw in the royal foundation. As twilight bled into dawn, heralding another day alive with possibility yet trembling with peril, the unknown fates outlined only an enigma loomed large over the castle. With the pulse of prophecy echoing through their ancient walls, the royal family faced a formidable specter, a future as inscrutable as shadows and as inevitable as the dawn. Time unfurled its twisted tapestry, and at its center was the palace, a place of whispers and shadows, where power entwined itself with poison in a deadly dance. Within those ancient walls, secrets clung to the stone like persistent specters, waiting to ignite the flames of inevitable confrontation. The monarch, once a figure of unyielding authority, stood at the precipice, his realm as fractious as the divided allegiances of those closest to him. A chilling wind of dissent and rivalry swept through gilded corridors, rendering loyalty a relic of the past. Beneath the looming portraits of ancestors whose eyes once guarded the sanctity of the crown, now mere witnesses to its corrosion, the court gathered, charged with an almost tangible tension. With imperial grace yet a heart burdened by betrayal, the monarch summoned his council. Faces familiar yet mirrors of suspicion faced him, every person a possible architect of downfall. Rumors swirled like a storm around a sea of intrigue, lurking in the hearts of those he least expected to deceive him. His voice, though firm, trembled slightly at the edges as he addressed these trusted advisors, unaware of the damning truths about to be exposed. A sudden, scorching accusation pierced the tension, bellowed from a noble tongue that had mastered the art of deception. Traitor. The word echoed like thunder, splintering the fade of unity. Courtiers froze as the charge lingered, a serpent winding through the air. Eyes like knives darted toward the guilty party, reflecting both fury and shock. For this confrontation was not just a betrayal, but a staggering play of power, poised to define the monarchy's fate. A trusted confidant, now unmasked as the adversary, stood in defiance, surrounded but not vanquished. His betrayal a venomous sonnet. The monarch's composure, though expertly honed over years of reign, wavered under the accusation's weight. With a defiant gaze that had faced storms and foes alike, he demanded truth from those who would sooner weave lies. And here, like a slow, unfolding tragedy, the web of deception unraveled. Trust, once his strongest alliance, was now a double-edged sword, carving doubt and despair. The accused fell silent, shrouded in a desperate calm, as the palace held its breath, waiting for either confession or denial. The court strained against the pull of time, anticipation tightening its grip around their throats, for within each heartbeat lay the answer to whether the kingdom would rise anew or crumble. The monarch, fighting the tide of disbelief, stared into the eyes of his betrayer. He probed for a glimmer of regret, a hint of redemption. But amidst the swirling chaos, a singular truth arose, piercing the uncertainty. This confrontation, looming and perilous, would strip the throne of illusions and force the kingdom to navigate its path anew. Through fearsome and unyielding turmoil, the true test emerged not of power or battle, but of forgiveness and the relentless struggle for redemption. As the confrontation carried on, shadows deepened, stretching toward an uncertain future. It became apparent that this was not just a clash of swords, but of will, a chance for rebirth through the crucible of deceit. And as the last vestiges of daylight fled, leaving only flickering torches to stave off darkness, a realization dawned. From these chains of betrayal, courage might yet be forged, propelling the monarch and his kingdom into a new dawn. And with this, the air seemed to hold its breath again, promising more stories to unfold, threads yet to be tugged by fate's relentless hand. Shadows crept across the kingdom, as word rippled beyond the palace walls, seeping into the minds of those who had once turned a blind eye to the dangers brewing within the heart of their kingdom. This was a realm steeped in tradition, a bastion of power and privilege, where the whispers of commoners held little sway. But now, the echoes of discontent traveled fast, igniting fires in unexpected corners, embers of rebellion smoldering just beneath the surface. It began subtly, almost imperceptibly, like a gentle breeze promising a storm, but the devastation it would soon bring felt tragically inevitable. In affluent corridors and humble cottages alike, tales of the king's fallibility spread, probing and prodding at the magnificent facade of royalty. What had once been seen as untouchable now seemed pitiable, the glittering edges of the crown tarnished by rumors of betrayal and greed. Every hushed conversation, every furtive glance carried with it a sense of shared conspiracy. Could it be, the people wondered, that those who claimed to be divinely chosen were, after all, merely human? The notion was as intoxicating as it was terrifying, a dangerous cocktail of hope and despair. Yet, even as the monarchy's vulnerabilities were exposed, an intricate dance played out behind the scenes. Supporters and detractors alike found themselves caught in a precarious balance, the stakes of which grew ever higher. For those within the palace, the growing unrest signaled both a call to arms and a call to reflect. How had it come to this? The question hung heavy in the gilded air, unanswered and haunting, a specter of truth that no lie could eclipse. But amidst this turmoil, one truth emerged crystal clear: the royal family could no longer afford to ignore the people they ruled. Bridges built on trust had begun to crumble, their foundations weakened by neglect and arrogance. The kingdom found itself at a crossroads, the path forward obscured by the mists of uncertainty. New alliances would need to be forged, and old wounds reopened if hope was to be found amidst the ruins. Yet, even as the tide of change threatened to sweep all away, within the depths of their souls stirred something unbreakable, an undeniable determination to rise above the scattered ashes of tradition. The winds whispered of a new dawn, and amidst the gathering storm, a question loomed like thunder: would the monarchy endure long enough to witness its arrival? The corridors of power are rarely populated by those who are officially in command. Instead, they echo with the quiet steps of those who exist in the margins, manipulating, persuading, and at times, shadowing the throne's glimmering promise. There was an unspoken hierarchy, one that had its roots deeply intertwined with the age-old monarchy itself. In the gilded shadows, individuals wielded influence, a subtle supremacy that surpassed even the proclaimed monarch's own. They were the unseen architects of fate, the real artisans of authority, skilled in the art of steering decisions with a mere whispered word or a carefully placed counsel. Their identities seldom revealed, their influence seldom acknowledged, yet their impact undeniable. At the heart of this covert cadre was an enigmatic figure, a cunning advisor whose intellect and insight were unmatched. Few dared cross him, and fewer still understood the full scope of his reach. His arrival had been a quiet affair, hardly noted by anyone outside the inner court. But it didn't take long before his counsel became indispensable. Sharpened by wit and cloaked in mystery, he was both revered and feared. a figure who seemed to command the tides of fate with just the faintest of gestures. It was said that his whispers could sway even the most steadfast minds, shaping policies and destinies as effortlessly as a sculptor molds clay. Such was his power that even the monarch themselves often paused, weighing his advice with the respect due to someone who seemed to hold the ear of destiny itself. While the king was adorned with a crown and lavished with the reverence of his kingdom, the true depth of control lay within the weaving words of this trusted confidant. His counsel was often laced with foreseen omens, and those who listened were compelled by the conviction only the wise or the prophetic possess. It was a dance of diplomacy and domination, where every conversation bore the weight of potential seismic shifts in alliances and fortunes. Yet, amid this intricate ballet of influence, alliances were both forged and shattered in hushed tones behind carved doors. In stark contrast to the official ceremonial announcements, the real theater was the private machinations that played out unnoticed by most of the realm's subjects. He understood that power was not merely an overt flourish, but an intricate web spun through carefully contemplated moves and strategic decisions. History had a habit of memorable mentions for grand battles or audacious reigns, but it was the quiet strategist, the anonymous orchestrator of events, who truly shaped the outcomes. As such, he operated at the fringes, nudging the flow of history and guiding it with a hand seldom recognized but always felt. Those who were fortunate enough or unfortunate enough, depending upon one's perspective, to cross his path were often left wondering whether they had been manipulated or guided to freedom. As the monarch rested upon a throne content with the laurels of their crown, it was ironic that the very foundation of their rule was so dependent on this shadowy power's guidance. In time, the line separating ruler from advisor blurred so significantly that it became impossible to discern where one's authority began and the other's influence ended. Ultimately, this clever advisor knew that while thrones may shine brilliantly in the sunlight, they relied on the solidity of their support to remain standing. But even the most astute of minds is not immune to the unseen hand of fate. And just as he had guided so many with such deft precision, his own story was yet to encounter an unexpected turn, one that would test the very essence of his loyalty and ultimately reveal whether he was a master of his destiny or merely a servant of circumstance. As secrets unfolded within and around the court, it became clear that the balance of power was forever a fragile thing, poised on the precipice of change. And from these shifts, the narrative of the kingdom pressed forward, ever deeper into the uncharted terrain of legacy and influence. Turbulence brews silently at the heart of the kingdom, an insistent whisper growing louder with each passing day. The once unbreakable regal facade now bears the shadows of fracture, a result of both internal machinations and external pressures. The court, a dazzling arena of opulence, harbors secrets that gnaw at its foundations. The kingdom itself teeters on the brink, its people restless, demanding, and disillusioned. It is a time for veiled strategy, where every gesture carries the weight of a potential shift in power. A choice awaits one that looms ominously, casting both hope and dread into the hearts of all. Inside the palace walls, the air thickens with anticipation, a quiet desperation that hangs heavy among its inhabitants. Allies are not as they seem, their friendships a delicate mask concealing ambitions steely with resolve. The royal family stands at a crossroads, their every move scrutinized by eyes both seen and unseen. The question lingers like an echo in a desolate chamber. Will the monarchy hold its ground, consolidating its ancient legacy through understanding and alliance? Or shall it be swept into the inexorable tide of rebellion? The future remains unwritten, a blank parchment awaiting the ink of destiny's quill. Yet, in moments of upheaval, clarity can emerge, sharp and true. The throne may yet find new strength in unexpected alliances, unearthing potent bonds that had perished beneath layers of old dogma and doubt. Perhaps, with vision unclouded by past prejudices, there lies a possibility to unite disparate hearts under a banner of renewed faith and purpose. Time is indifferent in its march forward, but choices made now will resonate through the annals of history. Uncertainty is threatening to tear the realm asunder or bind it like never before. The stage is set for decisive action, but it is in the murmur of the people and the resolve of the monarch that the true path forward will be found. An unmistakable tension lines the horizon, hinting at change as a state both ominous and necessary. Decisions must be forged in the heat of this mounting unrest. decisions that could either lead to the ruin of what has been or the resurrection of what could be. As night descends upon the kingdom, a new kind of dawn is possible, one not bound to the inevitability of discord, but to the promise of reconciliation and rebirth. The echoes of past glories and present struggles meld, whispering a profound truth that will determine whether the kingdom's journey is one of resurgence or downfall. The answer, unfolding with each dawn, draws ever closer, leaving all to wonder which force will ultimately prevail: unrest or reconciliation. The echoes of the past resonated within the cold stone walls of the palace, as whispers of the clandestine history wove themselves into the fabric of the dwindling dynasty. With the twilight fast approaching on a once glorious realm, the air was thick with an unsettling blend of nostalgia and foreboding. Figures knitted by both blood and betrayal watched as their legacy teetered on the precipice of oblivion. Yet amidst the shadows of deceit, there lingered the haunting whisper of something profound, something akin to truth. What truly happened behind those closed doors? The secrets of one ruler's heart and the mysteries buried with each passing generation were now on the brink of revelation. As the curtain drew to a close on their tumultuous saga, one could only wonder, is the end truly an ending, or merely a shadowy prelude to another beginning?